Hi, everybody. It's Marjorie Waldo with Culture Under Fire, making a case for the arts. This is episode 12, The Power of Private Support. Donors, and we're going to talk about donors who fuel the arts and the economy. And we're going to be speaking with the Kimmels. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're here.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for
Glad
coming.
to be here.
Okay, so let me just briefly read the description because it's supposed to keep us on track. Behind every curtain call, there's a donor who made it possible. In this episode, I will explore the personal journeys of these major philanthropists, revealing the moments that sparked their interest in giving and the transformative power their support unleashes in the arts. You are some of Arts Garage's largest donors, and I want to spend a couple of minutes bragging about you. So can you give me just a second to give some of your background? So Virginia Kimmel, she was an elementary school teacher in Chicago's inner city schools, and she transitioned to real estate and became active in the arts during that time, even painting. In fact, I have a painting of yours in my home.
She does. She bought one.
I bought your painting during your exhibit at Arts Garage. Harvey Kimmel had a successful career, which is an understatement, in venture capital consulting and working with troubled companies. Kind of a turnaround expert, if you will, with Fortune 500 level companies. And with Virginia, they turned toward philanthropy focused on children's and arts education. Yes?
Right.
Okay, so Sarah, their daughter, who is now managing the Virginia and Harvey Family Fund, got her PhD in 2004 from Boston College and practiced clinical psychology at Harvard University Health Services for mental health for a long time. How many years?
16 years at
16 years.
Yes.
Now you work in the nonprofit sector.
Harvard. I sure do.
And oversee the family fund.
Correct.
Which is super cool. All right, so your support is mind-blowing to me, and I'm going to give a little bit of a history of before you came to Delray. You moved to Delray when?
About 12 years ago, I guess.
Okay, so before that, you did arts assistance programs in Bridgman, Michigan, and student arts access initiatives in Pennsylvania.
Right.
You provided in Delray a 6-figure matching grant to help expand and enhance the children's department of the public library here, adding space and resources for youth. You've done many other philanthropic efforts in Delray Beach as well, but I want to point out 2 programs that you did in the Northeast that blew my mind. One is the Access program, where you offered $2 admission to over 100 museums, theaters, gardens, and cultural sites across greater Philadelphia and Delaware for people with qualifying assistance cards or disabilities, making arts experiences more affordable for low-income families, which is a cause dear to my heart and which is something you've helped Arts Garage do more of. The Kimmel support has helped programs like STAMP, originally part of the Greater Philadelphia Cultural Alliance, and now it runs through Artreach, I believe, to provide free or low-cost museum access for high school students as long as they show their ID and it's not during school hours, right?
That's the rule.
So they can see cultural institutions at any point in their lifetime, and make a big impact. If you are a teen from a family that can't afford to travel, this is a way to travel when you can see what you see in our cultural institutions. The STAMP program in Philadelphia was free tickets to museums. The Access program was on scholarships, subsidized tuition, and reduced ticket prices. Did I capture a lot of it?
Yes.
You've done way more than that, and so much more in our community since you moved here. Can you talk about when you decided to begin supporting the arts? Can you talk about that moment? Was there a moment where it was like, we need to do this?
No, I don't think there was a moment. We've always helped people when they needed tuition. So that's arts education. Hopefully they took some artsy courses too. So it began with small things like that. And then because I taught in a very low-income school and the children there just had nothing, they didn't know. If you said play to them, they would have thought they were going out to play. They didn't know that there was such a thing as a stage and people performing. And music and all of those things are so important to children because it just enriches them. But even more important, it helps with their learning abilities.
Yeah, it does both, right? I mean,
It
the
absolutely
research
does.
is impressive because it says that not only do children's brains, all of our brains, even my mom after her series of strokes, your brain can rewire itself to capture things that it's missing, right? And it grows every time you either encounter new obstacles, then it finds a path around that obstacle, or it grows when you expose it to new things and you learn more information. But it also does the other thing you're talking about, where it just gives families support who don't have the discretionary income in their homes to get their kids to camps or
Right.
museums or things like that. It's pretty impressive. Harvey, was it Virginia that pushed you to do this, or you always point at her when we talk about this? How do you feel about it?
Well, first of all, it's all Virginia. We both grew up challenged in terms of economic status, whatever. Mine, not so bad, a nice middle income family in the city of Philadelphia. Virginia in the city and suburbs of Chicago. But she's the one that knew about arts and the power of arts. My schooling throughout the years, I'm not sure I even knew how to spell the word arts. So yes, it all really came from her energy and her desire to do something and say that when we made money, which took a number of years, as it does with young people, it really was a mandate that now has gone on for, we're married 58 years, I guess a good part of that, 50 years or so, obviously starting in a very small way, and now has blossomed into a very significant number in dollars and in programs.
Yeah, and in the people you've touched. The ripple effect of what you're doing has truly long-lasting and massive impact on communities across the Northeast where you've supported programs like this. Sarah, how do you wrap yourself into the family business? How do you feel about philanthropy and managing all of these different organizations that the family supports?
Well, it is a huge responsibility just because my parents have created quite the legacy, I will say. And so I take it very seriously in terms of committing to their mission, which really is that art is for everyone, and that our goal is to make sure that all people can have access to the arts, and whether that's fine arts, performing arts, music, and whether that's in appreciation of the arts by going to a performance or in the experience of learning to partake, right? Because embracing creativity is essential for young people. It is a way for them to express themselves, to find out who they are, and to build confidence. So for me, I remember at a very early age, my parents encouraging me to start taking acting lessons. And admittedly, I was a bit of a ham as a kid, but also a bit of an awkward kid. I particularly in middle school, started to struggle, I think, with some bullying and social issues like a lot of young girls do. And I will say that my experience, which was at Philadelphia's Walnut Street Theater, was transformative. It gave me an opportunity to feel like I could become something else, be brave, stand up in front of people, feel proud of myself. And I think even though I pursued a totally different career path, the fact that I experienced that has allowed me to become a much more confident person, communicative person, and also enables me to relate to lots of different people.
You know, you look at a lot of mental health professionals now are using the arts
Yeah.
as therapy because and as a kid, I experienced a similar thing. When I found theater in high school, I didn't fit anywhere.
Yeah.
And that gave me my people, right? It was transformative. It did give me a sense of self.
Yeah.
And gave me a tribe to hang out with, right? And to know that they were weirdos like I am, even to this day. And I think it's interesting to see how it plays in mental health work. Have you seen any of that?
Oh, absolutely.
Can you give an example?
I mean, let me think of an example I can give you. I mean, I think we have seen with some of the programs that we support, right? Kids that are coming in, whether it's to your camps or whether it's kids who are learning to play an instrument through some of the programs that we support that help kids get access to actually having their own instrument and learning how to play, that it can really help them feel a sense of ownership over something, strength and ability in themselves. Right. So often coming in feeling this isn't mine, right? This isn't my world. I don't know what I'm doing, the kind of uncertainty or insecurity. And then you see these kids perform and
Can I
it's
just
like,
jump in?
wow. Yeah, please.
I'm not sure it is the number one, but the number one program, and we've done so many, so forgive me, where I have seen that is back in Philadelphia. We helped start, it's a franchise. We were the first franchisee of a ballroom dance program.
Oh, that's cool.
And Pierre Delane, Evian Marceau, 2 champion ballroom dancers, retire. They start something in New York. New York now has 50,000 kids a year or whatever that go through it. We franchise it, we being a lady, 2 ladies who found this program and brought Virginia and I to support them. To your point, the program is a ballroom dance program. I think we called ours informally dancing classrooms.
Yeah.
I think it's 5th grade.
5th grade.
But it really was civility. And generally it was inner city. It was almost exclusively inner city schools in Philadelphia, 5th grade. You know, who's she, who's he, I'm not touching him, whatever. Twice a week as part of their phys ed, 10 weeks. The transformation in those 10 weeks, and literally the theme of the program was civility, and it changed their personas, it changed their education, it changed their performance, it changed their character. Studies have been done on the program because it's been in existence now, not just Philadelphia, but New York for a long time. It is absolutely clear the power of the arts to transform people, and particularly young people. And that one program stands in my head because
example.
We would sit there, Virginia and I, and almost chuckle in the first 1 or 2 classes.
He's not touching me. Don't put your hand on me. And then at the end, they walk out holding hands.
Yeah.
Or arm in arm.
Well, if you think about adults, think of Arts Garage or any other venue that has cabaret style seating. You have a table of 6 or 8 at our space, and you don't know who you're sitting with unless you buy all the seats at that table. So you are crossing all boundaries in that process. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic level you are from. It doesn't matter what race you are or what your cultural experiences are. It doesn't matter what your political leanings are. In that moment, it transcends all of the differences as you come together to do this really cool, witness this really cool performance or see this amazing art exhibit or whatever it is people are doing. So it does bring people together, absolutely, and reduces the fear and gives you some skill set to work with that is transferable to the rest of your life, right?
On the other hand, there are so many programs and they all have their impact. What you have done with, I think it's called the Kimmel Family Series. I don't know. I don't care
The
about
kids.
the naming. That's so unimportant to me. People have to see. I wish everybody listening to this would come 600 kids, 300 at a time, two in a day. I don't know if you even do multiple days, who they've never experienced this, and they come for an hour and they're transcended into this whole different environment. And when you see the impact, so it's a different kind of impact than a specific targeted every week kind of program. But wow. So I've sat there now at the art school. I don't, you would think after all these years, but it's still, I
no,
walk out
big impact
with a tear in my eyes and happiness in my heart. And it's just incredible. And people need to experience that, and in turn, in their own way, take that joy and do something with it.
Yeah, for our listeners, the Kimmel Family Series is in its second year, and we bring professional theater in mostly from the North and Southeast, and put it on the stage for field trips for currently 3, and we're trying to expand now, of our local elementary schools who get to come in and see this theater performance. And we're starting to have some kids who came last year and are back again this year. And they always greet me and say, I remember you. And when they leave, they say, I can't wait to be back. When's the next one? They're on the edges of their seats. The energy for me is electric. I'm going to tell you that it is the most powerful moment in my job on a day-to-day basis to watch those performances and see those kids in our space. It just blows my mind.
I absolutely agree with you. I think the thing that I feel most after those performances is I'm very hopeful about the children and what they will be able to do when they are adults. And it was shocking to me the knowledge that they had about science. These are 6-year-old kids. I didn't know.
You guys
all
were at
those
Steve Trash, the
and that
science
was-
guy.
It was just, it really gives you hope that things can get better.
Well, they were engaged too.
Oh, my
They're
gosh.
coming off their seats trying to ask questions. If they heard jokes on the stage, they would want to raise their hand to tell a joke.
Yeah, they did.
So it just captured them for sure. I think it did for sure, and gave them options for what they might want to be able to do in the future. And even if I had 2 kids, I think I sent you this episode to look at, but when I invited you, I had 2 kids and the school principal come. The school principal, who is one of the principal of one of the schools that comes to the family series, and the kids were part of our summer camp. So for the listeners, our summer camp was called Set the Stage for 4 years, and it was funded by a matching grant from the Kimmel Family Fund. And we've transitioned it now to something else, and it's being funded by sort of a sponsorship by an individual where people are matching that and finding. We gave away $17,000 in scholarship dollars this past year. And so it's done kind of what you wanted. One of the things that Harvey told me, and I think you too, Virginia, was that you like to set people on fire a little bit, that you can see the impact of your dollars when you give to programs like that. And so it's definitely done that for the summer camp. Our goal is to make sure we don't ever say no to a parent. I think it's super important. Okay, so wait. Before I ask the next question, there's one more thing that you said. You said they are more likely to be engaged or something. I can't capture exactly what you said. And it was in a different context, but I don't know if you're aware that the research from the Americans for the Arts indicates that teenagers and children, but teenagers in particular, are much more likely to be civically engaged if they've participated in community-based arts programming.
Yes.
So they are going to connect more.
Yeah. And it's important. Sometimes teenagers or middle school, high school are forgotten because they're not that cute little kid.
That's exactly right.
And that's really sad because so many of them get to middle school and their reading level is like 3rd grade. So all of these things that can help teenagers, I think, is equally as important.
And the what you said, Sarah, about where you were in middle school, early high school, and how theater helped you overcome some of those obstacles with bullying and feeling like you fit in some way. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, that's correct.
And I echoed that because it was absolutely true for me.
Yeah.
I think that you can't put a value on that because as kids get older, you're right.
Yeah.
People don't feel the need to donate. They don't see them as cute and adorable.
Yeah.
You come to the family series show and you see 300 elementary school kids and you can't stop grinning for days,
one's
right?
cuter than the next.
Right.
And smarter than the next.
You
yeah.
get to middle school and high school and they're a pain in the rear end. I wanted to give my son away until he turned 25, right? And they just get really lost in learning who they are. And I think providing opportunities for them to participate in arts programming can really help, if not save them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a tough period to go through. I wouldn't be under age 30 for anything.
No, you couldn't
But
pay
high
me to go
school-
back.
High school was the worst thing ever.
And it doesn't
Absolutely.
matter whether you're coming from a very low socioeconomic family
Yep.
base or whether you have the ability to travel and take camps, do camps or lessons or sports or whatever. It doesn't matter. All of those kids at that age are struggling with identity
Absolutely.
and the sense of community, finding a sense of community for themselves with their age group and their peers.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. All right. So we talked about a lot of the questions that I had written down. So I'm going to ask you, how did Arts Garage get lucky enough to get you in our corner? But I remember the first time we met.
Oh, so do I.
We knew this was coming.
We were sitting at a table. You want to describe it? And I'll tell you what it felt like from my side.
I want to go back. We had just moved to Delray, and I think we were still renting at that period. I'm pretty sure we were. And we
because it
wanted
was right down the street.
And we like to do our giving. We call it impact giving. So it's smaller organizations, smaller dollars. We had moved to Delray, felt comfortable here, and we're looking for places to start working with in line with our desire to work where we lived. And I forget how we got to the art. This is Arts Garage
Chuck.
BM before Marjorie. And we went in and met with the people. And let's just say it was a challenged environment at that point. So we said, thank you, and left. I think about a year later,
Probably
Chuck.
about that. Chuck
Halberg, who's very involved here in lots of stuff and has lived here a long time, said that he had gotten involved at Arts Garage and they had brought on board a new person to run it. Would we meet her? And we said, of course. So we met Marjorie, and we both looked at each other and said, wow, what a ball of fire. She's going to burn the place down.
Actually, what you told me was that I needed to calm down.
Yes. I was
Was it
trying
you?
to be polite.
One of you said-
meditation and yoga.
Yes, one of you
So
said
that
I
you
talk
could
too
make it.
fast and I am trying to do too much at once. I will tell you that I tried to take your advice, but I couldn't. I still am guilty of similar offenses, I'm afraid.
No,
but
I
it was
think
good
you've-
advice.
I think you've learned a lot from that little meeting. We also told you when you were better at running everything that we would give you money, but we weren't giving you money then.
Do you know what?
That was a good incentive.
Your
for
first
you.
angel donation was after that meeting, before I had a chance to prove anything I was
Well,
saying.
boy, oh boy, we screwed up on that.
What happened was Harvey didn't want to. You were like, I think we should help her.
Oh.
Oh, well,
That's how I remember the story. Give her a
that
chance.
would be very true because I'm always for the, I shouldn't say underdog.
Underdog.
But at that point,
It was
you were the
definitely an
because
underdog.
it was totally a big career change for you.
It was a big career change, and the organization was underwater
God,
in
it was
every
a total
way.
mess.
Yep.
So it was a challenge for sure. And you knew from your line of work how hard overcoming a challenge like that is. I'd done smaller turnarounds, but never really pulled something off like what we've done at Arts Garage. So I will tell you, it's a chance for me to say thank you publicly, that it changed things for me because you were willing to take a chance. And I felt inside, intellectually and emotionally, that I could do it. I tend to be the person, you're never going to see me on a pair of skates because I know I will need to be wrapped in bubble wrap. I don't choose to do things. It's a bad thing and a good thing. I don't choose to do things that I anticipate failure. So when I took it, even after I looked under the hood of the car a little bit, I still felt like I could pull it off given enough time.
And money.
And money.
I mean, that was something that would help you know that you could do it because you had dollars behind you too.
That's right. And those dollars, but I will tell you, there's something bigger than the dollars that comes with the dollars. The sense that people believe in what you're trying to accomplish and are willing to buy you time, which is what those dollars did in the beginning.
Right.
So it meant the world. You've also been mentors to me over the years, and it's been a very...
And for those who don't know, Arts Garage has become a huge, huge force, certainly in our geographic area, and is an example now for what others can do. I mean, I constantly, when we meet other organizations or talk to them or try and carry ideas, because what the heck, don't invent it if it's successful. So Marjorie does so many successful things. We've tried to take those to other organizations and other places. So
that's cool.
It's
that makes me feel good.
No, it's incredible what's happened. And I don't know geographically, but if anybody ever gets to Delray Beach, there's something generally every night at Arts Garage. Just go. Anyway.
We have one particular supporter. Virginia, I didn't mean to cut you off. We have one supporter who's also a performer. And he has told the audience that it doesn't matter whether you're familiar with the genre of music that's on the stage or not, you can trust that it's going to be a killer good group. So it's kind of a good
What
thing.
I was going to say was I think we should kind of add a little bit to the name of the Arts Garage. It should be the Arts Garage for all, because adults, I mean, young people are right in there. Artists who are young, artists who are old, little children now. I mean, it is for all.
We've extended in the last year and a half into the senior community more. We're doing a senior series, also grant sponsored, not grant, but giving sponsored, restricted giving. We push 5 Palm Beach County senior centers, a couple of which are Alzheimer and dementia care facilities. Like daycare, where if your spouse is suffering from Alzheimer's, you can get a few hours respite. We push 2 arts programs, a movement program and an improv program into those facilities. So it's pretty cool.
I knew you were doing that. But
10 times a month.
Yeah.
We're serving those seniors. And we did for 2 years in a row the Artist in Residence series, where we bring seniors like the Pompey Park Seniors Club or the Boynton Beach Seniors Club or other organizations that serve seniors who are still able to attend shows and get in a van or a car and travel to the venue. We do special concerts where it's like an open rehearsal. So Nicole Henry did one, Ann Hampton Calloway did one. We've had multiples where they give the senior community a look. It's very intimate, maybe 20 to 30 people in the audience, and they get to talk and ask questions and see how a performance is put together. So we agree. You know, one of my favorite schools in town is called Village Academy, and it's I'm gonna say it wrong, but I believe it's from the cradle to the grave is the concept. So they have preschool programming to senior programming. And the school itself is K through 12. There's an adult ed program, obviously. And we try to see, our mission is kind of to do the same. We want to make sure that we're serving everyone if we can. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity. Access is a big part of our
Yeah.
our visioning of what our platform enables us to give, right? We have a responsibility to give back to the community. We're born from the community, and we're born from a CRA project 15 years ago. It's 15 years in April. And we believe that giving back to that community that gave us this opportunity is super important.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. All right. I want you to tell me, if you can, I don't know if you can define it or not. And Sarah, I want you to start.
Okay.
Because between the three of us, I think we won't give you a chance to, I'll talk over you for days. I can talk for days. So what has been the most rewarding experience, or a couple of them, that you've had in handling the funding that you do through the family fund?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Can you name a specific example where it really hit home? And I know one of your passions is animals.
Yes.
Mine too.
Yes.
Right? I don't do work in a nonprofit to support them, and I know that's part of your work.
Yes.
But in terms of the arts, what's been a really meaningful thing that made you say, damn, that's why we do this?
Oh boy. It's a hard thing to answer, just because all of the programs that we support, I think, have such a profound impact on the specific community that they work with.
I'm just going to interject for a moment,
Because I'll think.
which will help Sarah along. With Sarah coming aboard, we actually have two community foundations now. One is run through for 30 years now, the Philadelphia Foundation.
Okay.
And that tends to be it's called the Arts Education Fund. And the other is run through Palm Beach, and it's called the Family Fund. And with Sarah coming aboard, and because of what's going on in our world, not just now, but for years, we have expanded into the world of, Sarah, help me out here, food,
Insecurity. And housing
insecurity,
Yes, correct.
et cetera.
You've done a lot of work for homeless in Delray Beach, for the
Right.
homeless,
So
the
Sarah,
unhoused.
I
Yes.
think Ariana.
Yeah,
wanna-
okay.
That's
It's not
probably-
art
So
space. That's why I
Sarah's-
paused
yeah,
for
no,
a
but
second.
I want people to understand
Well, it is
because
no way.
we love the arts and all this impact we're talking about. And so it's not being deprived at all. We have had the good fortune to have the financial wherewithal to expand, but we didn't have the capacity. Virginia and I only have so much energy left in these bodies. So is Sarah willing to give up her career and take on this responsibility? Well,
It is a big
it
responsibility.
is.
It's
It's
Transformed
huge.
my career.
Yeah,
So
There
it's
you
huge.
go. That's a nice
Yeah.
way to
So
say
This
it.
is
there are
still
a
your
couple
career.
programs that
It's true.
Sarah's involved in, Deborah and Ariana is.
Yeah,
You
I need
should
to.
speak
So-
about those.
So one of, I will say, I think one of the most, it's just such an impressive program, is actually here through the Delray Beach Police Department. And I know people politically have lots of different feelings about police and policing in our world right now, but this particular program that Delray has is standout. It is a community outreach program that works specifically with people at risk of homelessness or unhoused individuals, people struggling with addiction. And they have a team of social workers that work alongside sworn officers.
Who have
And-
been trained specifically to
Exactly.
deal with
Exactly.
the unhoused community.
And they go out into the town, the city, and they literally recently did a point in time assessment where they went out all hours of the night into the early hours of the morning and counted every single person that they could find who was homeless in Delray Beach.
They do that every year.
Yes, and they know them all by name and get their stories and relate to them as humans and help them gain access to life-saving resources. And for those who aren't interested, that's okay too. They build a connection and a relationship that they then maintain so that they can meet people where they're at. So it's a really powerful program and a model for, I think, lots of other cities that are now starting to learn that part of the responsibility of a police department is to truly engage with the community in a compassionate and human way.
Yeah,
And so-
no, they've done amazing work. I don't know if you remember, but we did a play, and I can't remember the name of the play
I
right
remember
now.
that play very well.
But we collaborated with Ezra Krieg and the initiative, the
Yes,
Delray Beach
yes, yes.
Initiative to End Homelessness, I think is what it's called. I'm
Right.
sorry, Ezra, if I got it wrong. And the Ariana from the police department was there as part of the panel after the play.
Do you mean the play with the woman with the shopping cart?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
She was phenomenal.
She was phenomenal, and it was a one-woman show.
Yeah.
It was really eye-opening.
I was just going to use the same phrase,
Yeah.
eye-opening to people in the audience, that they're not just somebody walking down the street
Yep.
with a stolen shopping cart and going through the trash.
They all have stories
have
just
a
like we do.
huge story.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that's a very powerful arm of the police department and an impressive effort.
Yeah.
And it's great that your foundation has been able to support those efforts. I
Yeah.
think that's pretty impressive.
It actually in Delray may be the biggest grant that we give because we find it so important. And through that process, they've been able to add. They were 3 or 4 people. They're
Yeah.
now 6, I think, or whatever. We've been able to add
All
a
the
couple.
policemen and the
And typical of us, our style of giving is we're going to help you get started. We're going to help you get going. This is very important to us. But you know from day one that we're going to leave you after a few years, or at least leave the current program. And you then have to find other, or in the case of the city, it gives them time to blend it into their budget.
yeah,
Right.
that's what it
And
does.
Right.
so we give them 3 years, and by the end of the 3 years, hopefully they've blended that position in, and then as happened, they needed another one, so we're able to help them. Or in your case, you're one of the most creative people we deal with. You keep us running for our whatever. When a program ends, like we've been blessed to sponsor the summer camp and so many other programs, you're creative enough to come up with another one. So this whole initiative, we have a couple food banks. We have our own
Yeah.
little food bank through St. Matthew's Church here in Delray, where again, we just provide the money. They do the work, but there are 30, 40 families that get their food. Sarah works with, I forget the name of it,
Eat better, live better.
And that's a big
Deborah
one.
Tendridge.
Yes.
Yeah, she's
and,
talk about a force.
Fireball.
Yeah,
Yes.
she is.
and she
She's
and
a lot like
Sarah
you.
have forged the relationship, and I think we're pretty good sized supporters there. If I'm vague, it's because I'm happy to turn over things to Sarah.
Well, and the thing I want to say is that the difference in your giving, in one big difference, as a nonprofit leader for, I don't know, almost 30 years now, it is very difficult to find funding that funds people to run the program. People want to pay for the scholarships, or they want to fund something different. They're hesitant, let's say, to fund a staff member like you're doing with the city and the police department, because they're afraid that it makes the program not sustainable after the funding ends. And I think it's a huge deal when somebody takes that risk, because the city sees the impact of the work, and it becomes a necessary component of making sure that the citizens in our town have a quality life,
Right.
all of us. So I applaud you for that. I applaud you for that.
In our case, what we rarely do, we make exceptions. The nice thing about being our own little organization is that obviously we can break the rules a bit. We try not to. But one of our rules is consistently.
Sarah had a different facial expression when you said we try not to.
Well, there's a veto power that somebody in this room has.
Yes.
But and Sarah tries to keep us on track. But my point is going to be, we try not to do bricks and mortar. We don't need our names on building. That's not our style. For years, we didn't even allow our names on programs. And then people made the point, and they were right, that by seeing our names and knowing who we were, it helps to attract others in. So we've given up that
We
attempt.
lost that battle.
We lost that battle. But bricks and mortar generally are not our kind of thing.
This launches me into the last question because we've hit the magic moment of podcast timing, right? So we've got a couple of minutes left. So as philanthropists, as donors, and I prefer to say as philanthropists because the donations you've given for 50 years have been transformative for not just the individuals who participated in those programs, but for the communities in which those programs happen. Transformative. What you've done for Arts Garage has been transformative, and through that, for the children in our town, right? So, what would you say if you had one pitch to other philanthropists who have the ability to give? How would you encourage them? Or maybe they're not philanthropists yet. Maybe they have the potential to be. I mean, obviously, Arts Garage asks everybody to give what they can, whether it's $1 or $1 million, right? And the people who support our programming, they give what they can, and it's remarkable to watch that happen. But what would you say to people who could give more?
Well, it's a little difficult for people right now.
Yes.
Because probably a huge percentage of United States people are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
And they have their own families to be responsible for. But I think that when they see what the results, they see their own child, really doing better in school because these things have been made available to them. I think that really works. And attending something when you see everybody in the room in the Arts Garage so happy, it does give an impact to people.
It does inspire others to give, I think.
And I'm not afraid to tell people that they should.
Sarah, what do you
I'm not afraid at all.
I mean, I think now, if I am wrong, then we'll come back and edit this. But
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there's this weird phenomenon that research has shown, which is that the people with more money sometimes hold on to it a little tighter. That a lot of giving actually comes from people who don't have an abundance of excess, right? And I think that what I would say to people, because we know there's a great divide of wealth in our country.
Yes.
And there are lots of people who have the capacity to give without causing financial strain on their daily lives and without jeopardizing the future generations of their family that they also want to look out for. So I would really say, what are you holding onto it for? This concept, I think, that we've had in our culture that we give when we die,
Right.
is a real waste. And I've seen this change in my parents in the last 5 to 10 years. I think as they've gotten older, they've realized, why the heck would we wait to give after we're gone when we can give more now and see the impact now? And
Perfect.
And when you see that, I've always said as a psychologist, if I could change one person's life, just one, that is, to me, a meaningful life that I have led. And that's what I think donors should also reflect on is, if you reach one kid out there who feels alone, who feels that they don't have value or worth, and you help them transform through the arts, wow, what a meaningful life you have led, because your donation allowed that individual to become empowered. So,
did you write and prepare that
No.
comment before the
No, ma'am.
podcast?
There you go.
No,
Really,
but it
there's-
is.
And I'm going to give you a one-liner
Okay.
to people, because Virginia and I see them all
Get
the
ready
time.
to bleep.
Stop counting your money. Start counting your impact.
Well, I have one more sentence to add, too.
Okay.
I think, I see the numbers going up.
Wow.
I think that a good reason to give is the satisfaction you get. I mean, when I walk out after those 600 kids have just seen this mind-boggling show, I feel good. And there's not a lot right now in this world that can make you feel good. And that does make me feel good.
It matters.
Yeah,
It matters
It
to a lot of
matters.
people.
It does.
All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. I really, really appreciate your time. It was very cold this morning when we did this recording, and I'm very grateful that you braved the Florida winter to come out and talk with me. Sarah, it means the world. I'm glad you were in town when it happened because
Yeah.
you don't live here full time. You just
do
come to visit. Virginia and Harvey, you matter to me as a human being, and I'm very grateful to know both of you, and very grateful on behalf of Arts Garage, our board, our staff, our team, our volunteers, but personally, I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
For
Thank
your
you.
impact
You
in
mean
my
a lot
life.
to us too.
Yeah,
because
bravo
you
to
do
you.
so many things, and you have changed the Arts Garage.
I appreciate that. For our listeners, this has been Culture Under Fire with me, Marjorie Waldo, and I hope that you will decide to follow the podcast, subscribe on any platform that you listen. You can check it out on YouTube if you prefer the visual. And if you have any questions or suggestions about what topics we should cover or guests we should invite in, we'd ask that you give us a call. And I never remember the box office number, so that's probably a bad idea. info@artsgarage.org. And just say Culture Under Fire idea in the subject line. And I hope that I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening.